I would like to thank Junoon very much and everybody who's helping to bring us here. It's a big thing, and I'm really glad to meet you all. It's a nice opportunity and important for me as an artist, as a Palestinian, as a freedom theater. So I'm happy to be here. And Happy New Year, of course, and I hope next year it will be full of freedom and justice to everybody. So, my name is Faisal. I'm from Palestine. I live in Jenin refugee camp. Jenin, it's a small city in the north of West Bank. I'm an actor and director at the Freedom Theater. Freedom Theater takes place in Jenin refugee camp, where we perform, produce productions, give theater workshops, where we try to give the space for all the Palestinian, for everybody to express themselves, to have fun, to enjoy. And our main title is The Third Intifada Should Be Cultural. By the way, do you know what does Intifada mean? Intifada, as a word, it's mean in Arabic shaking. So if I'm shaking thing, so this thing, it's Intifada. So it's become Palestinian expression about when there is like a demonstration in the street, when there is the children throw stone to the Syrian army, when there is fight, so we call it's Intifada. So in our history as Palestinian, we have many Intifadas happening. But main thing, there is two Intifadas where it's big. So we call it the first Intifada, and there is one in 2000 start until 2006, 2007. It's called the second Intifada. So our main title as a Freedom Theater, Third Intifada, what it will come, it's Cultural Intifada. So this is our message, and our main title is to use the art as a way of resistance against the Israeli occupation and against all types of the occupation. Because in Palestine, we don't have only the Israeli occupation. And I'm sure here in India, you have many occupation, but a different style. So, to understand the Freedom Theater, I would like to give you first thing, a little bit of the history of the Freedom Theater. That will make the picture around the Freedom Theater more clear. So in the first Intifada, we'll come back now with the history, to the first Intifada. And now I'm talking about 1989. The first Intifada started 1987. So in this situation, as I said, there's a lot of fight in the street, demonstration, children throwing stones. The city is closed by checkpoints. It's not allowed you to go from this place to that place. It's a big thing. So in Jenin refugee camp, it was very where I live. It was very difficult situation, especially for the children, because the Israeli army decided to shut down all the schools, and they arrest a lot of the teachers. So the schools shutting down for 6 months. No education. It's not allowed. It's a curfew. In this time, there is a woman. Her name Arna Khamis. She's an Israeli woman. She's married to a Palestinian guy. His name Saliba Khamis from Nasr. And this woman, she came to the refugee camp as an activist, as somebody who want to help the children to give them alternative education, because there's no school. It's done, as we say in Arabic, khalas, no education. And she started in the street, like, bring a group here, talk to them, some games, okay, where is the box? Let's do this, let's do that. And she got very welcome in Jenin refugee camp. And that's, guys, very important and very sensitive point. As an Israeli woman who came to Jenin refugee camp, and when we say Jenin refugee camp, that means the most dangerous place in the area regarding to the Israelis. And we are the terrorists where we eat humans. So to have an Israeli woman, Arna Khamis, in Jenin refugee camp, in the Intifada, where is the Intifada is going, that's a big deal. So she has been very welcome with the other women, and she started to get help from people. And they start to build the groups, like groups of teaching, helping, making like small, in this house we will have a class this, in that house we will have another class. At least to give a taste of the education, to keep the children alive in the school. Day by day, they start to grow up more and more. Until when Arna did and her group, something called the traditional schools, like where they use the roof, where they use the street sometimes. In the same time, her son, Julian Al-Khamis. Julian Al-Khamis, he's an Israeli actor during that time, and he's a famous guy, very important, who came to Junior Refugee Camp also in the same time, in the Intifada. And that's also other big deal. You talk about artist who's well known, and he's suddenly in Junior Refugee Camp, working with children. And he started to give a theater workshops. He started to, drama, painting, drama therapy, sometimes let's do a play, let's do scenes. And the project started to grow until when Arna won the alternative prize of Nobel from Sweden. And she got like around $50,000. So they have a lot of money. So they decided to build a theater. As a Julian is an artist, he's a big director, so let's have a theater. But when you say we want to build a theater in Junoon Camp, it's funny. Why? Because no place, it's too narrow, like it's 1 kilometer square. And a lot of people like macaroni, like this. And to suddenly talk about theater, what's this? So there is a woman, her name Samira. Yeah, really. Samira Zubaydi. She said, guys, okay, I have a roof, take it, and build a theater there. Not bad. And they built a theater, and during that time was called the Stone Theater. Of course, why the Stone Theater? Because for Palestinian, stone, it's a big symbolic of resistance, because we used to throw stones, get them rid of, we are so good at this part. So, the Stone Theater, it's start on the roof of Samira house. And they decided to make a play. So, the first play they did the play called The Small Lantern by Ghassan Kanafani. Ghassan Kanafani is a Palestinian writer, very famous in Palestine, and they play for children, so they do it. And day by day, of course, they continue with activities, with like between painting, acting, and they create like centers for children. Until 1994, 1995, Arna's died of cancer. And all the situation around in Palestine has got changed. Why? Because the Palestinian Authority, PLO, Palestinian Authority, they have been in Tunisia and Beirut, so they come back. They have a deal with the Israelis, Oslo Agreement. I don't know if you heard about Oslo Agreement. Oslo Agreement, it's like it's agreement between Palestinian Authority and between Israel to bring peace. But unfortunately, that's it. So everybody was happy about Oslo Agreement. Yeah, khalas. No occupation, yeah, freedom is coming. And everything got changed. In the same time, Arna's died of cancer. So the main reason the project stopped, because Arna's died of cancer, and also the political situation in Jenin, in every city is going to change. And Juliano, he came back to his life to Haifa. And we will jump now from this date, 1995, to 2000. 2000, the second Intifada started. But second Intifada is different. It's not about throwing the stones anymore. It's not about closing the school. No, it's more than this. It's tanks, Apache, rockets, special forces, killing, home demolition. So it's a real war. It's not that we are not used to this. You usually, what? No stones anymore. It's bullets, it's rockets, it's killing, it's field. And the resistance started to grow in all Palestine, all the guys. So all of these children who was with Arna during the 1989, who was in the Small Lantern play, they became freedom fighters to protect Jenin and to protect the camp. Suddenly they found themselves M16, Kalashnikov, in the middle of the camp. Yes, we will fight. The Israelis will not occupy the camp. So, and the Jenin refugee camp during the Intifada start to be famous as a symbolic of resistance. Like, Jenin camp, they are fighting. And we became like, encourage other cities. So 2002, the Israelis decide to shut down all the resistance in whole West Bank. They keep Jenin refugee camp to the end. So they start with Ramallah, Nablus, Beit Lahem, and then they came to us. 2002, 4th of April. And they destroyed everything. They destroyed 360 houses. A lot of people being killed. All the camps was arrested. Everybody was out of the camp. The camps are around 17,000, 18,000 people. So, in this time, Giuliano, he's in Haifa now, he's there. But he heard what's going on in Junoon. Junoon, my friend, my brothers, my artist. He was in the news. Suddenly he saw one of his students, Yusuf. He was reading the wasiyah. Wasiyah in Arabic it's mean like before you going to die, you say something for the families, for the war. You know, I don't know how to say it in English, but wasiyah in Arabic, I hope it's clear. Yeah, so he see Yusuf. He want to go and do a suicide attack in Al-Khidira in Israel. So when Giuliano see this picture on the TV, he directly come to Junoon. When he come to Junoon, of course, he found there is no store theater. There is no Salirat. There is no actors. All of them being killed. Except one guy. His name is Zakaria Zubaydi. He is the son of Samir. So it was a big shock for everybody. Everything is between one night. Boom, boom. Like the attack was 10 to 13 days. So Giuliano at the same time was filming, was preparing for a documentary film called Arna's Children. My recommendation for you to see it, if you can, you can find it online, or we can find a way to send it to you. It's very important. This story, what I tell now, I make a summary for the film. So in the film, you will see the young. So in our children film, when you see it, you will see all the story. It's a 90 minutes film, and you will see the children when they have been in the theater, going playing, throwing stone, until when they are freedom fighter, and they're being killed in 2002. And everything is done. خلاص again. So after 2002, it was a big plan to the media. People get killed. What's happened? The news. There's a lot of people who came, like activists, doctor, people who want to support from Sweden, from Germany, from everywhere in the world, and journalists also. So one of the guys, his name Jonathan Stanzak. Jonathan Stanzak, he's a Swedish, and he's a Jew at the same time. He came to Junoon with medical group to bring medicine to the people after 2002, like after April, like it was. So when he came, by chance, he met Zakaria Zubaydi. Zakaria Zubaydi, he's the only guy who still left from the group of the army. But he was hearing about Zakaria Zubaydi. And during that time, Zakaria Zubaydi, he is the leader of Kataib al-Aqsa Brigade in Whole West Bank. So he is one of the leaders of the big Arab resistance in all Palestine. So as a Jew, Jonathan, what is expect? He told me this because we work together. He said, when I hear Zakaria is coming, what I expect will be somebody with big beard, having amami, Allahu Akbar, al-Islam wal-Hal, and he want to kill all the Jews in the world, and he would to put them to the sea. This is what the image in Jonathan's mind. But suddenly Zakaria, he's a young guy, and he talk about theater. And he tell him, I was in the theater group with Arna al-Khamis in the bus. But look what we're doing now. So Jonathan got more interested. Then he saw Arna's Children film. Arna's Children, this film, it's still the old story. So Zakaria and Jonathan, we have to come back. We have to bring the Stone Theater again to Junoon. He said, oh, where I come back? I'm wanted. I will be dying. So look, here Giuliano, number, contact Giuliano. He's the one who will help you. And they contact Giuliano. Giuliano in the beginning, he was scared. Why? He don't want to repeat the same shock for him. To make a generation of actors, to grow up, to be group, and suddenly in one day, boom, there's nothing. He said, okay, I will come and I will work with you for 3 months and then I will leave. I said, okay. So, Juliano Khamis, Zakaria Zubaydi, Jonathan Stanza work together. 2006, the theater is open, but not the Stone Theater. We said, we want to call the theater. He said, the Stone Theater. But the Stone Theater was in the past and there's a film, let's keep this for that generation. He said, Arnas Theater. No. Juliano Theater. They start to pick name, Palestine Theater. And then everybody was sitting like this in a circle. He said, guys, what we want, what we are willing for? Freedom. So it's the Freedom Theater. And Freedom Theater in 2006, it's opened the door. Today Freedom Theater is growing. We have a theater school where I graduated 2011, where also the student, maybe some of you have been yesterday in the performance, they are also students in the theater school. And also we have a multimedia department where we produce short films, short clips, exhibitions, and also creativity writing. We produce a magazine called Voices. So in these 3 parts, the Freedom Theater stands as a way to use these tools as a weapon against the Israeli occupation by give a place to the people. Because people in Palestine, especially in the camps, need a place to test their thoughts. We believe as an artist and as a guy who's born in a refugee camp, who knows Palestine, the occupation is not only the tanks and the wall and the prison and the killing. The occupation also deeper than this. To the mind, to the blood, to the thoughts, to the views. During the Intifada, especially Palestine was, and especially the camps, was a black box. There's no views. The people cannot go in or out, they need a permit. It's a really complicated story. So you need a place to the people to imagine, to think. If you ask any child about his dream, example, during that time especially, and even until now in some places, what is your dream? It will be about death, about killing. Because all of the circumstances around, it's pushing you to hold the gun and you go through yourself. Because no choices. The same story with Arna's children film. I hope you will see the film and you will see these young guys and suddenly they found themselves with a Klashnikov and they're 16 and they're Jenin Khan. They didn't choose this. They're forced to be choose this. So Freedom Theater work is to say no. Palestine also needs us as Palestinians. So we want to keep our identity alive through art, through plays, through films. And that's our work in general. Now, how I got involved to the Freedom Theater? Because of Arna's children film. When I saw the film for first time, I realized one of my family is in the film. I got so happy as a child. I got, wow, Ashraf is in the film. Because I know Ashraf. Oh, no, Abu Alhayjaa family. You see it? So there is a scene in the film when Juliano asking Ashraf, hey Ashraf, what is your dream? And Ashraf said, my dream to be the Palestinian Romeo. Even he didn't say it right, he said, my dream to be a Palestinian Romeo. So, in the second scene in the film, you will see Ashraf when he killed in 2002 in Jenin refugee camp during the invasion. When I see this, I saw this actually, I want to be Palestinian Romeo too, but I don't want to be killed. This is the first event, it's become between me and between the theater in general. And of course I was hearing about Arna and Khamis from the older generation, because my generation didn't know Arna. We hear about it. We hear about Arna, about the Stone Theater. So of course the Freedom Theater started later in 2006. Then I want to go, but it was not easy to go. Because there's a lot of rumors around these foreign people. They will change the values of Islam. They will rape your mind and put boys and girls together on the stage. They have sex sometimes. It's not allowed, it's haram. Other people, no, maybe they are traitors. Yeah, maybe they are Israeli intelligence, they take reports, they take investigation of the people. So it was not easy as a, I'm from Junoon and this place. But finally I was brave enough to go and meet Giuliano and meet the other guys. And I remember Giuliano said, we have a theater school, we have a multimedia department, we have creativity writing, we have a photography workshop, we have filmmaking workshop. And as a guy I said, oh my God, all of this happening and I don't know. And I joined the Freedom Theater. I joined the theater school, of course, 2007, 2008. And day by day I start to understand Freedom Theater is not only theater. Freedom Theater, it's hope. It's a creation. It's a craziness. It's also fight. Because we present ourselves not only as artists or actors, we are freedom fighters. So because we are freedom fighters, 2008 it was the first production for the theater school. And my generation, it was the first generation in the theater school. So we did the first production for us. Now, I'm gonna play a video, couple of minutes, you will see the first production. It was Animal Farm by George Orwell. So let's have a look to this and then we will come back.
شو هي طبيعة الحياة اللي احنا عايشينها؟ خلونا نعيش حرام. حياتنا كلها عشان ما نشتغل وتصير فيش ولا حيوان حر. حياة الحيوان حياة غير مفتيش. ليش الإنسان لإنه يا حرام؟ ثورة!
ثورة يعني الانتفاضة!
المسرحية بتحكي عن انه كيف مجموعة حيوانات كانوا يعانوا من الانسان واضطهاد الانسان لهم، كيف لما اجتمعوا مع بعض كلياتهم ثاروا على هذا الظلم والاستبداد وعملوا ثورة. فهذا الحكي بيتطبق على واقعنا احنا كشعب فلسطيني، كيف انه بالاخير مش حنتحملش الظلم ولا الاضطهاد وعملنا ثورة ضد الاستبداد ضد الاحتلال الاسرائيلي.
وصل الخبر عن جيل جديد من البصر. يا رب الحيوانات، يا أهل التضحيات، وصل الخبر عن جيل جديد من البصر. يا رب الحيوانات بالخبر.
من يوم ما فتحت مدرسة التمثيل تقريبا من 6 شهور شاركت في مدرسة التمثيل. أنا كنت مطلوب للاحتلال للإسرائيليين، تقريبا 7 سنين مطارد للإسرائيليين. التزمت في الهدنة اللي ناشئ عليها قيادتنا السياسية الأخ مازن وقيادتنا السياسية كلها. التزمنا في هدنة في مقررات السلطة الوطنية الفلسطينية. أنا صار عندي يعني كيف أحكي لك مطارد 7 سنين. صرت آخر شيء أخذ إنه أنت وقفت الثورة، يعني انتهت الثورة. ولازم أدور على ثورة ثانية. اتجهت لمسرح الحرية لأني أنا باخذ عن مسرح، مش مسرح الحرية لحاله، أي مسرح، المسرح ثورة.
المسرحية في فكرة لازم توصل، وإحنا فكرتنا إنه إشي مصغر عن مجتمعنا. هذا إشي مصغر، المسرحية كانت إشي مصغر عن مجتمعنا، الواقع اللي بصير معنا، إنه الخنازير سيطروا على المزرعة، وما كانش يعني في جونز وبلا جونز كان نفس الإشي، يعني ما فرقتش معنا. يعني
إذا خلينا كل الحيوانات يشتغلوا مع بعض راح تكون معهم سنة.
هاي السنة مزرعات المهيمنات الأفضل للحيوانات.
يا فكرة بجد، فكر فيها بطريقة منطقية. راح تخلي الحيوانات يشتغلوا بس 3 أيام.
3 أيام في الأسبوع، على معنى شغل الحيوانات 7 أيام في الأسبوع.
طيب بنسأل الحيوانات وشو
بحضرك أنا بطلع فكرة الطاحونة للحيوانات.
بس أنا راح أحكي لك
كنت راجع حالك يا صباون. المزرعة هاي إلي، والمزرعة اللي بحدها واللي بحدها المدينة كلياتها إلي. أنا ملك هذا العالم، العالم كلياته إلي.
Show you how's the corrupt. Why they are corrupt in the play? Because they start to talk about me, not we. And we lost we. We don't have we in Palestine. We just have me. I did this. I will do this.
We see many changes between the first revolution and now. And we have many Napoleon, we have many Schuyler, we have many Musas, and many of these characters in our life.
أنا رايحة. غلط؟ عشان شو غلط؟ عشان شو؟ في شيء غلط عشانه. كنا نحكي عن جونز شو كان يعمل فينا. بس على الأقل كنا نحكي. هسا لا. ضلك اشتغل بنفسك، ضلك اشتغل على أعمالك ليل ونهار. أنا بقدرش. أنا بقدرش أكون ضعيفة.
عشان انا بشتغل. موالي استني. موالي.
المسرحية بتنبه الناس اللي رح تاخذ السلطة واخذت السلطة انه في امكانية اذا نالي بالنا على حالنا وعلى المبادئ والمواقف السياسية راح نخلص نقتل بعض، نعدم بعض، نحكم بعض، نحبس بعض، نسكر على بعض ونصف مزرعة الحيوانات لجورج أورفيل.
عين كويسة تحكوه، عين كويسة تحكوه. بدكم تعترفوا بكل شيء قبل ما تموتوا.
يا رب الحيوانات، يا التضحيات، وصل الخبر عجيل جديد اللي انتصر. يا رب
يا خايف من المزرعة.
ليه مثلا؟
اسلموا
يعني عادية.
تفضل نتخرب بالبزنس.
So this is like a small moment of Animal Farm 2008, and it was the first introduction for the theater school, my group. And it was a lot of fun for us. Well, first time, costume, makeup, big set. And now after the play, a big thing happened. We didn't expect it. After a couple of shows, they try, we didn't know who, to burn the Freedom Theater twice. The story, every now I tell it, it's like a magic. It's like what happened in the night. So as you see, it's a big set. It's all in all the stage. So there's here, close to the theater door, there's a big basket of water, like for the animals, for the horses to come and do the scene of, drinking. This basket or this big bucket, there is one small hole in it. So all the night, the water go to the stage, to the floor. So it's become like everywhere the water. The one who came to burn the theater during that time, he has a pipe and he put it from under the door and he put the gas and benzene, something will burn. So when the benzene goes inside, there is water. So it stay out on the water and it was just burn the door, not like that much. So Animal Farm protect the theater. After this, we got everybody sit down. We didn't expect that will happen. Why? What is it's just a play, it's a theater. And in that moment we understand what we're doing. We understand. I think that theater is not only a theater. The community don't like this maybe, some people don't like this, we touch some people. And one of the main teasing thing in the play was, in the end, we adapt the play for a Palestinian situation. In the end of the play, as you see, we brought the Israeli army to the farm to have a deal with the pigs. So it was a clear, I think, message and strong one during that time. So that's case a lot of good thing for us. The director, Nabil Al-Rai, you see him, the guy who speak about we and me, he'd been like investigated by the Palestinian intelligence. It was a lot of question about what you mean by this, what you mean by that, why it's pigs, and they start to make connection. Pigs, it's haram in Islam to eat pigs, and they cannot eat pigs. So it's become, a lot of intellectual mind. How we want to change the values of the community. And next week, during that time, in a Friday in the mosque, there is a khutbah where they're telling people every Friday. So it was like we were the main target, of course, about the pigs, how this happened. And what it's make it more, the Al Jazeera Al Arabi, they came during that time and they filmed that. It was nice play and something that became very strong. And we became, like, in a way, like we are the shame of Leader of Fajikan. We are the shame of the fighters, freedom fighters, Jenin camp, all of this history of Intifada. We are out of it. Day by day, I start to feel we are so dangerous. And that's made me happy. So that if somebody will try to burn the theater, so that's good. That's mean we are good actors. We touch him. And we got to have inspiration from each other. My personal story with this play, of course, as you know, maybe you are familiar with this, when a student go to the theater school, the family is, no, it's not allowed, those to do other job or do. Palestine is the same. But in Palestine, maybe we have extra. They are afraid from these people. Who's foreigner, Giuliano, he's an Israeli guy, his mother is a Jew, and blah, 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 foreigner. So I invite them and they see the Animal Farm. And my brother said, oh my God, if we brought 100 politicians to talk about Palestine, it would be so boring. But if we replay 1 hour, you give us a whole picture with a lot of fun. And I like that. Because everybody wasn't expected to be like this. Julian was smart in this moment. He was putting a lot of effort on us. We die until when we have this play. Working hard with big things. So to impress the people, to show the people what we can do. And we succeed with this. And of course, then we go to a second production. Then we got invited to perform out of Palestine with different. We start to grow as a theater school, as a theater company, with the soul of we are freedom fighters. Because what happened in the animal farm, it gives us energy. And to be honest with you, we got more famous. When somebody tries to build the theater after a play, you make the play more famous. And everybody want to see the animal farm. Until now, today asking about animal farm. And this is 2008. And then of course, we continue. This is the theater school. I try to talk about it through Animal Farm. There is also, as I mentioned, the multimedia department. And there is also a project called, we start this project, it's called the Freedom Bus. What is Freedom Bus? Freedom Bus, it's a bus where we travel in Palestine with a lot of artists and a lot of activists and a lot of foreigners from everywhere. And we do theater, like a kind of festival, small but a small thing. We perform in these communities. We use the form of a playback theater. You know what is playback theater? Somebody knows about playback theater? And playback theater is a form from the theater. It's like, here the audience, the actors on the stage, we have a story from you, and we, as an actors, we provide this story directly, immediately, with a musician. This is a playback theater. So we use it in Palestine, in the Freedom Bus. Why is the Freedom Bus? Freedom Bus because in Palestine, there's a lot of checkpoints was during the Intifada. So the people in Nablus, they didn't know what's going on in the south, in Hebron. The people in Hebron, they didn't know what's going on in the north, in Jenin. So the stories of Palestinian, it's become like isolated, like a small ghetto. So what we will do as artists, let's go before the stories of each community to the other community. So we did this, and sometimes we take like a community from here, they go with us to other community and to see performance about this community. In this way, we try to break this division between the community through the Freedom Bus. Of course, also we do physical work with the people. Like when we go to the area, we call it in Palestine, the touches line. Touches line, it's mean like the most closest area to the military bases, to the checkpoints, to the Israelis. So, and these people still fighting to stay in their homeland. And they keep having the pressure to be out. So, through theater, through art, we make their story alive because we need story. Otherwise, nobody will know about us. And that's the Freedom Bus thing. And also what else we have in the Freedom Theater. Of course, after my generation graduate, now everybody like somebody in London, working in theater, somebody participating in film. So we make a big jump after the first generation because the people start to see the result. And this is the most important thing. We have to give the audience the result. Like when you talk about Gene refugee camp example, and you tell them about theater and all of these circumstances around. Occupation, Palestinian Authority, blah, blah, this, black or white. The people confused. They have to see something, inspire them, and drag their eyes to be on your side. And that's not easy. Now it's easy to talk about it, but it's hell. It's a lot of work. We start to build our audience. Of course, through our plays, the people start to understand. We get more support from the people. And a lot of people who are against the theater, they are playing big part in the Freedom Theater. Our board, it's like mix. The people, our board is like there's a guy from Hamas from our board. There's a guy from the left side. There's a guy from Fatah. There's a guy who's don't care about anything. So we try, every time we have been pushed now, who we present. Like we present Fatah, or we present Palestinian Authority, or we present Hamas, or we present who's. We said, no, we are Freedom Theater. We are artists, we present Palestine. Why we have to be under a title? And that's a big thing in Palestine. It's so deep to the people. Because each family in Palestine considered to be, you are with this group, you are with that group. So we face it when we work with children. The child already, when he grow up in this home, he's already adopted. He's already follow Hamas without knowing anything about Hamas. He's following Fatah without knowing anything about Fatah. This is a mistake. This is occupation. We push the children. Of course, maybe I'm sure the family don't mean that, but the circumstances around that, they create a child who's know nothing and who's like full of anger and he's full of one rule. So that's why art is important. He comes to the Freedom Theater, he do a theater workshop, and then he tell us a story about his school, about his life, and then we acted, then he participated. Then he started to think, and then he said, no, I'm not this or that. I am who I am. I'm Faisal. Why I have to be Faisal who's from this group? And this is the main problem in Palestine. And of course, I don't like to talk about the freedom theater like is in a way on, we have a magic stick. Everything is easy to solve. No, we still face a lot of difficulties. There's a lot of people who don't believe in our work, who see us like, so we still like, jumping on the stage without anything that doesn't make sense. And at the same time, there's a lot of people who support us. The idea to talk about cultural resistance, it's hard to, how I can say it, when you talk to the Palestinian about resistance, how you convince it. Like example, I remember one day we have been talking with Giuliano about this. Cultural resistance. Yani Giuliano example, if the soldiers attack my home, I will give them Shakespeare, monologue of Shakespeare, then they will stop. No, it's not like this. And then we start to discuss about how important to know what we want as a Palestinian, to give space for children, for women, through writing. Because how I can say it like this, when you are under occupation, your mind is limited. Like how it's limited? Like example, for us as a Palestinians, it's not allowed for us to visit the sea. Like I never visit the sea in Palestine. And between Haifa and between Jenin, like Haifa, what is the sea? It's 40 minutes, 50 minutes maximum. I never visit. Why? Because it's a big wall. So this is one example. Imagine who was a child who he knows after that wall there is a sea, and is not allowed to be there. And we did the story. We did one time a play called The Journey, and these children, it was a story of a group of young guys from the camp. They want to go to the sea, so they create the sea on the stage. That was lovely to see these young kids how the imagination start to bring the sea to them. Other people know they will go have to fight the Israelis. And when we say Israeli army, we talk about army. We talk about army, one of the first army in the Middle East, tanks, everything. So you will be killed in 2 minutes. But the true story, you will live 100 years. And Palestine need people to live in. This is what we try to match and through our work. And of course, there's a lot of videos, not only Animal Farm, there's a lot of plays. This is like an old play now. There's a lot you can see, you can have a look about our work, about the Freedom Bus, about also our magazine, our website, thefreedomtheater.org, and you can contact us, please. And one of the last thing we do is we are in India now, in the collaboration between us and between Jannah, and it's very unique thing because we have similarity. Because Jannah Group lost Softar Hashmi, and we lost Giuliano Al-Khamis. Because Giuliano Al-Khamis have been killed in 2011 in front of the Freedom Team. 7 bullets. Until now, we don't know who, we don't know why. What we know, we are in the right way. Because who killed Giuliano want to stop our work. And it's a big thing, like we never expect Giuliano will be gone. And everybody thought after Giuliano the Freedom Theater it's khalas, it's done, it will close the door. But every time we got tired, and every time we got like bored, because we are human, sometimes we feel disappointed, we feel bored, we feel everything. Every time we got tired from the war, we remind ourselves, Giuliano being killed, so we have to continue. And we are continuing, and we are here in India, having a great time, performing, already we perform in Mumbai, like now, Bhopal, now the team in Kerala, I will film it tomorrow, and the story is growing. The theater school today considered one of the strongest schools in Palestine. Our films, the documentary films, they participate in festival. The professional company of the Freedom Theater, they perform in Palestine. They get invited abroad, to UK, to Brazil, to New York, and we try to lead the new generation of Palestine from different way. And this is the Freedom Theater, and I hope I catch, because there's many things I don't talk about it. I know I'm limited on time. I have to, if you have questions or comments or please don't be shy to ask about anything. Yes, please.
All your plays that Freedom Theatre puts up, each play does have a message about freedom, or some of the plays are just for pleasure, enjoyment, or each play has a message for the freedom struggle?
Mainly our work, there is a message always in our play, but not every play like about occupation, about the Israeli occupation came and they rescued from the home, disappear home. No, our message, like example, these days there is a play now for children, it's called Math Exam. Exam in Palestine, I'm sure the same here in India, it's a big thing. Especially for the, like we call it in Palestine, Tawjihi exam, is the final. Like after this exam, you are at the university. It's hell. You can't imagine the pressure of the students. And the problem is, if you fail, all Palestine will know you are failed. Why? Because they put the names on the TV. And they put and they say the names in the radio. And they say the names in the magazine. So they build stress, and a lot of people, like a lot of children, a lot of young people who had really problem of psycho problem, like you got afraid, got fed out, leave the school before the exam, do something wrong. So we did like this play. It's about the exam in general, like who decides you are failure or succeed, in which way, how they see you are a succeed guy or a failure. So this is an example about, we try to match stories and we try to match subjects, match our life as a Palestinian. And of course at the same time, the last production for us, it's not last production, Math Exams last one. Last year we did the production called The Siege. The Siege, it's a big production, one of the biggest our production. The Siege talk about 2002, but about the Nativity Church. You know the Nativity Church in Bethlehem, where is Jesus born? There's a group of young freedom fighters during the Intifada, 2002. They escaped to the Nativity Church because they have been fighting, and then the Israelis came, so they escaped the Nativity Church. And of course, Nativity Church is very important, very precious, like, Vatican, the State Authority, all European, Israelis, United Nations, everybody want to solve the problem. So these guys refuse to give up because they have been protecting their cities. They didn't go to Tel Aviv and shoot. The Israelis came. So a lot of people came to solve the problem, and then they have a deal with them to exile them out of Palestine. But this decision of exile, after 40 days of the siege inside the church, without food, without water, without anything. So this story in Palestine, everybody knows about it, but nobody knows the details about it. Like everybody, what's happening in the Nativity Church? It's a siege, these young guys, and they are exiled now, they are in Europe and everywhere. But this is not the story. The story is these guys being cheated, being tricked, because they didn't know they are going to be exiled. They know it's like 1 year, 2 years, and they like around, not to be kicked out, never to come back. And there's agreement from Palestinian Authority, Israel, US of course, and they play with it, and suddenly these guys be tricked. So 2 years of research as artists to meet the guys. We met all of them. They are now 2 of them in Ireland, 1 in Italy, 1 in Spain, 1 in Greek. So we meet all of these people. They told us the story. It was a lot of material, and we did the play about them. And we performed it in Palestine. The people love it very much because talk about the freedom fighters, talk about the resistance, and the people like this. But when we performed it in UK, oh my God, it was demonstration in every show against us. Why? We are market terrorism through discipline. So this is the type of our play. And sometimes we do play physical theater, of course, different stories. More questions?
But it's also interesting what you were telling me, that in UK you had 2 lines, no?
Yeah.
Because in Israel, in Palestine, you have a lot of Israeli groups who also support the cause of Palestine.
Yeah.
So you were saying...
About the 2 lines this thing, like when we perform in UK, there's a group of course who came against us, like by giving, having Israeli flags, brochures, market terrorism. At the same time, There's other groups, they are also Jewish, who came who support us, who said with them, with Welcome Freedom Theater, with Palestinian flags. So when you come to see the play as an audience, you have to pass through this line. With somebody support, somebody against. But we did it and they tried to stop us and we succeeded with it. And now we will do it again. And 4th of April it will be Memorial of Giuliano, and it will be the anniversary of 10 years of the Freedom Theater, 10 years of culture resistance. We will do the siege again. And yeah.
Are you doing this, are you doing it deliberately or trying to get in trouble? Or is it part of your art? Because art itself makes people think and or are you inviting danger deliberately, like going out and trying to get them to art?
I didn't get the question exactly. Like what we...
I mean, you could be in a safe way do your art and make a good living.
Okay.
But
I got
it.
But this is my life. Right. I cannot avoid my life. It's like the siege, it's happening. Like all of these young fighters, they have families, they have children, they have friends. Like the same thing with other places, the same thing with math example, like what we do today. This is our life. We try to talk about our life. And of course, we face a lot of problems, even from the community or from the Israelis. Like example, to travel. It's not a big thing. It's a big thing to travel. I'm lucky, because we have the invitation from the theater, strong organization, a lot of work having to get the visa and then to come. And when we travel, it's not allowed to us to travel from Tel Aviv, from Mongolia, and just 2 hours from my home, the airport. It's not allowed. I have to travel to Jordan. So I have to travel before like 2 days to make sure I pass the borders. Then I go there. And then we called ourselves culture resistant. So resistant without risk is something, there is something missing. But of course, we present ourselves always as an artist. And I see artists as responsibility who's responsible to the community, who's looking for something we need to talk about. And especially when a lot of people silent, they didn't want to talk about it. Like example, the Palestinian Authority to talk about the agreement, what's happening in the siege, nobody will tell you about it. Nobody will tell you. And that's clear, like there's a documentary about this. Like what happened with these guys? This is something annoying me as a Palestinian. Because this story could happen with me. Like these guys, there is a group of negotiators who talk to them and talk to the Israelis. And the agreement was they will exile them around Palestine, out of Bethlehem. And they were happy and they start, to build, okay, خلاص, we finish we go on. But suddenly in the last minute, all of these negotiators, they have been kicked out from the Palestinian Authority, and there is another group of negotiators who's in Jerusalem doing a deal with the Israelis. It's a tricky thing. It's their trick, the guys like this, and these guys, come on, they will die. So as an artist, when I know this, how I can avoid it? I'm not an artist if I will avoid it. The new generation of the Palestinian, they have to know this. They have to know the story. And everybody have to know the story, because these people, like they were fighting for who? They were fighting for who? They have been injured, they have been able to people get killed, for what? So this is, I think, the responsibility of the art to complete the push of the new generation.
Excuse me. We know mostly about Israel and Palestine, people from the newspapers. But I'd like to know that most of you all, all of you all who live there, they live in fear all the time? Children to adulthood to...
I didn't understand.
Do the people, the Palestinian people live in fear all the time from childhood?
No, not in fear all the time. Look, I'm not in fear now.
What's your over there?
Like fear, not fear, no. When we talk about occupation, I'm talking about life, there's a problem also. We normalize our life. Like when you tell the Palestinian about checkpoints, the checkpoints, maybe some of you come to Palestine and suddenly see checkpoints, it will be a big thing. And this is how the human must react, something illegal. But the people normalize their life, and this is a problem, and this is one of the responsibility of the art to keep pushing the minds. This is something wrong, what's going on. In general, not everybody in fear, but of course, time to time. Like example, these days it's a fire, the situation. Maybe tomorrow it will be okay, everything fine. Maybe next day you will be arrested. Maybe after 1 week, everything will be closed. There's no expectation all the time. That's why we have a joke about Palestinian, we cannot make a plan. Because it doesn't work. That's why we live in moments. So that's what is make us unique, I think. We live moment by moment. Yes, please.
You talked about normalizing. One thing which when we look at Palestine in the media, we see that the idea of shahadat or martyrdom seems very normalized in children. And so it seems like they're more interested in the afterlife than in this life. So how do you get children to be interested in this life rather than...
As I said in the beginning, and that's true, every child in Jenin, like especially during the Intifada, this is responding. I want to be a martyr. Because this child, he didn't have a choice. This is the hero in front of him. He didn't know, like, what we expected from a child who's like seeing his father being arrested in the middle of the night in front of him. What, he will throw flowers? Of course, first thing he will think, I want to be a martyr, I want to shoot all of them. And this is create the anger. What we try to do through our work, no, there's other way to talk about this. And there is a stronger way, because it's important from the to the world and to the people to know your story as a child. So to show them like when they participate in a play, example, and they do a theater show for other children, to show what we can do through this one production. Then I'm a martyr, but not dying, because Palestine need me for this children. This is one of the ways we succeed with us, but I don't mean everything is alright. Not every child will succeed with this, because this is something deep and something hard in the mind because of the situation. Like everybody, if you talk about children, hey, what will we do? They shoot at us. They kill us. What will we do? We give up? No, we'll not give up. So this is what I mean by the other occupation in the mind, where you see only one choice, and this is what the Israelis want. Okay, go face them and you will be done. You will be a martyr. Go to the God. So we try to, to give other alternative of colors of freedom, and also to fight. We have to know why we are fighting. Like this is we work with this a lot with children, with young people. Like example, well, there is a big question. If I'm a freedom fighter, I'm fighting to be a shaheed or fighting to liberate Palestine. This is always a strong point, and it's always work, this one. Like if I'm fighting because to be a shaheed, or no, or maybe I'm fighting because I'm angry, because they shoot my brother, or maybe they demolish my house. So which fighter I am? We didn't say to the children that we are alternative, we try to make the peace, We didn't say that. We didn't present ourselves for the community, we are alternative of armed resistance. No. We present ourselves as an artist who believe in art as a way of resistance. And of course, everybody has this choice in the end. And we cannot click to the people's mind and change how they think. Because in the end, we are an occupation. And all of the international laws give us the right to defend ourselves and to protect your family. But what we try to do, there is another way. This is our way. Artist, theater, magazine, film, that will keep you alive. And we succeed a lot in this. We convince a lot of people. As you see this guy in the animal farm, Rabia, the first one who speaks, he was wanted for the SAS army. He chose. We didn't tell him put your gun and come to the theater. He see the theater. He see what we can do. And let's take an example now. If I'm not in the Freedom Theater, you think we will meet? I will come to India, meet Janam, know other stories about Sultan Hashmi, and we have the similarity, and here they do street theater, we do in Palestine. I will be in Junoon, I will be, this is the power of the art, where it gives us a good reason to meet. And this is why I really like this local talk, because we need to meet. And we are, as a human, we are very liars. We didn't meet at all. In the cafes, this is not meeting. This is just to kill the time or to have fun. But theater is no, we meet. Because now look at you and you're like listening. So you meet me. If you meet me in a cafe, how are you? How is Palestine? Good. Allah, and to the phone. This is the life. This is now what's going on. And this is then why we do art if we will not solve this and we give ourselves space to meet. And I think a theater is a good place.
Yes, you've given a human face to the entire Israel and Palestine conflict. Today I'll carry home with me what you're trying to do at your end. It's just
fair to think, just to be clear, it's not a conflict. In Palestine we refuse this war alone. It's not a conflict. Palestine it's under occupation. What's going in Palestine, it's an occupation, and I'm not trying to give the face of the humanity of nice, and there's a lot of people who do. But me and the Freedom Theater and the Freedom Theater, no, we don't do this. We are artists, and we try to share our work and how it's our resistance. This is what I try to do through this session by giving you all this. And please, this is not a conflict because it's not India and Pakistan. It's not two countries who have armies, who have big population, who has money. No, it's not like this. It's occupation. It's people who steal your land, cancel your name, and they say, out. You are not from me. So this is what we always against this expression about the Palestine and Israel. We say occupation, then we can talk. Why I just this? Because there's many people who try to make it as a conflict, especially also the artists. This is what is also bad. Like example, I will tell you a story about one time I was at the Freedom Theater and there is a young lady. She's beautiful. She's American. She came with her car. Yeah, she speak. She's a director. She's a young director. She's excited. She heard about the Freedom Theater. She was always impressed with our work. She saw other children film. And yeah, we can talk about somebody like this came. Okay, maybe we work together. Maybe we can do something. And she want to do a play. I said, Wallah, you want to do a play? Oh, good. In the Freedom Theater. She said, yes. I said, what the play about? What you will do? Yeah? What is your plan? She said, I want to do Romeo and Juliet. I said, okay, nice. Why you choose this? Why you choose Romeo and Juliet in the infantry camp? She said, Romeo is a Palestinian guy. Juliet is an Israeli woman. And then we see the obstacle. I don't know, really, you see all of this around you through Romeo and Juliet? No, we don't do it in this way. And I told her, my advice to you to not do it, because there's a lot of people did this. Especially Romeo and Juliet, as a Juliet who's an Israeli and Romeo as the Palestinian, or the opposite. The occupation is not like this. And this is what we say in Palestine. We don't have a problem with Jew, with Israelis, with religion, with anything. This to stop the occupation, then we could talk. Then we could understand each other. But how I can understand you while you are, make me limited, put me in the prison. It's the same as two football teams. There's a team who's trained, having a lot of space to train, having football, having clothes, having every morning running, And there's another team who's inside the room, locked, there is no light, no food, no water. And the other team calling them, please come and play with us. And they close the door on them. This is the story of Palestine. And why Freedom Theater for me is important and the art, because it gives me a chance to say what's going on in Palestine. Because as you said, the media doesn't give also the right or the whole picture about Palestine. The media give you everybody thought Palestinian terrorists, we want to make a suicide attack in Tel Aviv. Why? So we can marry 72 girls in the paradise. Because this is the Islam. This is how the people see us. And that's why art is important. To keep our identity alive. No, we are Palestinian, we are Dabka dancers, we are artists, we are filmmaking, we are theater, we do a lot, we have a theater school. And we are a culture thing. And nobody can deny this. But if I keep saying nobody can deny this without an action, there is nothing. But when I come here, having performance, having the theater school here, Animal Farm, The Siege, Alice in Wonderland, Men in the Sun by the San Kanafani, Fragments of Palestine, what else we did? What else? There's not two plays we did. What?
Mathematics exam.
Yeah, math exam. This is my culture as a Palestinian, and this is why art, it's a strong weapon against the occupation, because keep my identity alive. And this is what we need. And I don't know, in India, here the situation, I see, of course, difference in the culture and thing. But identity, for Palestinian, it's something big, because we lose it, because we feel in Palestine we lose it. Like example, I don't know how you lose your identity. When you go from Junoon to Ramallah, Junoon in the north, Ramallah in the south, so 1 hour and a half. There's 3 checkpoints in the way. So you have to stop at the checkpoints and to show your ID. And your ID, your names, it's in Hebrew, not your language. Hebrew and Arabic. Why in Hebrew? So the army who's on the checkpoints can know your name exactly. So what is my identity? And even the Israelis now, when the dialogue, when they talk, they didn't say Palestinian. They didn't say we have a problem with Palestinian. They didn't say we killed a Palestinian. They didn't say we are a Palestinian city. No, they said Arab. Let's kill the Arab. We killed Arab. Arab, no Palestinian. Because, and this is also occupation, how will it delete your being from the memories of the generation, of the memory of the universe. But they cannot while we are here. Yeah. Because Freedom Theater house started with one woman, too young. Today the Freedom Theater, one of the biggest theater in Palestine, and working very hardly, professionally, with everything. We invite a lot of teachers from everywhere in the world, community dell'arte, acting, movement, dance, voice, filmmakers, and there's a lot of big names who came to the Freedom Theater. And when we perform out, we perform with very important places. Very big theaters. So, and this was also the message of Juliano Khamis. Because Juliano was always tell us, we don't want to go to Europe or to perform. You know, we are the Palestinian young generation from Jidda refugee camp. So yeah, we can walk on the stage. Finally, even there's occupation, but they can walk, and then the audience is clap with you. And they are happy because of this. No, we don't want this. We are not victim all the time also. We try to build the art like artists. That's why it's 6 students here. They have been 20, but they cannot continue with others because of the hard work. And every day from 9 to 6, training with a lot of things. So we try to keep, because we believe in art, and we have to invest on this art to stay alive.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose to came to India and what your...
India.
Yeah, and what your...
Yeah. First thing, India and Palestine, it's so connected. First, like if you say Salman Khan in Palestine, everybody knows him. If you say Amitabh Bachchan, oh my God. If you say this is like really from Bollywood movies. In Bollywood, it's a big thing in Palestine. Maybe you don't know this because there's a channels, Arabic channels, who's present films or series from Bollywood and in Arabic. Sometimes subtitled, sometimes in Arabic. So the people, it's funny when we told them we go to India. You will see Amir Khan, you will see this, you will see that. This is from outside. But India also for us, it's unique because India knows what is occupation, knows what is mean to be down and to be under control. And has a long history with fighting against the British. And in our school, we learn about Gandhi. There's a chapter like about his way of fighting the British. So we think, it's important to have a cultural bridges between India and between Palestine. First, to learn about the Indian history of fighting for freedom, and also India is still fighting for freedom, but from different style. Like example here, I noticed in the street there's lower caste, they were up caste, and I didn't understand this. Everybody was telling me up caste, lower caste, telling me a lot of stories, but I didn't understand it until I came here. Then I said, oh my God, what is this? It's crazy. In Palestine we have the same, but not lower caste, upper caste. We have Arab or Jew. The same thing, like. So I think, and we hope, inshallah, not only this project, it's also other theaters will continue, other group of dancers, of artists, of clown, of musician, to keep our identity of, because what is connect us? We willing for freedom. And to be honest with you, India, for me, it's easy for me to talk about Palestine in India than to talk about Palestine somewhere else, like France or Germany or US or something. Why? Because this is funny. The audience here, that's my experience with Indian, they are so supportive to the Palestinian cause. Like freedom, fighting, yes, all of this with that energy. In Europe, you have it, not of course everybody, but you have some question about what if we bring a group of Palestinians a group of Israelis to the sea in Berlin or, and they meet each other. They meet each other, then what? Now, that would be the first step of peace. So they try to make not all of them of course, but there's so many, to try to normalize what's going on, and we can solve it through this. But in India, no, I didn't face this until now. Because here the different culture know, and the people know what is occupation, and I think the people knowing is not enough, because also India for us, it was a big history with Yasser Arafat, and it was big support for the Palestinian cause in general. And what is sad these days, how this big shift to the Israeli side, especially the Modi government. And what is keep thinking about it when I say India and Palestine. India, I think, one of the lastest country who's organized Israel until the 90s. But today, it's a big collaboration, weapon, economically with Israel. And first time I got to India, when I saw the guns of the police, I know the guns. These guns called Galilon. Galilon, it was the Israeli army weapon during the first Intifada. Now they didn't use it. It was my friend Roch Ahmed al-Min. Hey, Faisal, hey, Galilon. They remind us of the Intifada. So that makes me sad, of course. But I know this is not the idea of the people, not the idea of the industry. So that's why art is important, to come, to meet, to do performance, and to be aware of this, or to be aware of anything, is the first step for change. I cannot talk about India without being here in India and understanding what is lower caste, upper caste example. Then I will compare it to my life in Palestine, between Jew and between Arab. And now we meet artists, then maybe we work together, we do something about this, and I'm sure it will happen.
But there is a memory which is possibly fading also of what India did with even the apartheid. I mean, you're saying Arafat, but even with apartheid, we were very, very supportive of the apartheid movement of separation, of ending apartheid. There is a movement that is attempted to get common people to actually, what is it called? The movement that stopped
boycott.
The boycott.
BDS.
Yeah. So just can you say a little bit?
BDS is boycott, fiction, divestment. Yeah, that's right. Boycott, boycott, sanction, divestment. BDS. It's started in Palestine 2005. They're doing well everywhere in the world. The idea of this, to boycott Israel in all of the ways, products, even cultural boycott, academic boycott. And this is very important for Palestinian and its work, because I have been in many big universities, like example, in Norway or in UK or in many places in the world, and also in US, to stop the occupation. And this boycott, we support it. Why? Because it give more awareness, and also at the same time it's not organized by organization called the boycott. No, it's people to people. Okay, from today, don't buy Israeli product. Then the people start to think, okay, everything they buy, made in Israel. Okay, bye-bye. And then the second thing. It's very important because it's keep our voice as a Palestinian in the world. Because all of these years, as I said, was big Israeli propaganda about terrorism, about suicide attack. So I think boycott, it's like a nail clicking the mind. And please, if you have, I don't know here what Israeli product you have in India. I don't know about it, but I think maybe you have something here, so big Israeli thing. You have the cream of the Dead Sea. There's a cream called Dead Sea, something for the skin, especially for the ladies.
I saw a lot of L'Oreal products which are made in Israel. You see on the bottle is made in Israel.
Yeah, so if you stop buying, and if you tell your friends to stop buying, that will create a strong movement to stop the occupation. And this is and inshallah it will work, and there's a big succeed for this, the BDS. Through banks, example, there's two big banks in Denmark, I forget the name. They stop working with any Israeli bank. And there's artists also. big artists, like, and there are singers who's like really cancel their performance in Israel because what they're trying to do also to avoid this, to stop the BDS. But until now they cannot, because the BDS movement is not one person.
Yeah.
It's an idea and people like it and they're supporting. Why I have to boycott? Because if I pay this money will go as bullets to kill Palestinian children, or it will go for bombs to Gaza. So I think after this everybody will, no, I will not pay money to this, because there's a big, like in Israel there is everything, because there is something for the army directly, not to the other like Ministry of Culture or or education, not to the army directly. So if we are here today, after this session, you left home, you tell your friends about the boycott, and let's stop by Israeli product or Israeli materials, by the idea of we will not be participants of killing children in Palestine.
India basically imports more weapons from Israel than any other country in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, directly.
Yeah, because you are a lot of people, you need a lot of protest.
But you know what, no matter how much we not buy Israel, things made in Israel or whatever, but they have the entire strength of the US behind them. I mean, it's a formidable ally that whatever we do, it's so very small. I mean, it hardly makes any difference
but
because
something-
you've got the entire strength of America
But
behind.
something I've noticed, sorry if I can just interrupt a second, when I was in the US studying, and especially in academia, a lot of scholarship, you have, the Jewish community is very strong in academia, and they're in fact some of the most progressive intellectuals, both as professors as well as students. But what used to amaze me at that time is that the one thing you could not talk about was Israel-Palestine. That is where all the shutters came down. Even some of the most progressive people that I highly respected, this Israel-Palestine, you could not have that conversation. What I've noticed recently, which I find very heartening, is that the younger Jewish population in the US, and we've seen videos, there's even amongst the younger Jewish population, maybe because the distance from the Holocaust is more or what, I don't know, that wall is becoming less strong. So there are, like you were saying, there were lines of, here, before you would not have those two lines. Even 15 years ago, you would not have those two lines. There are two lines today. It's really important. So even within the US, once your lobby itself gets diluted in some sense, right, which is happening. It's also happening amongst the Indian diaspora for fundamentalism in India. You're finally having two voices coming up, and if you don't see it in the mainstream media, but you see it in social media, you see it on YouTube, you see it all.
Yeah, maybe socially yes.
Yeah.
In academics yes, but in the administration,
on the street.
On the street, yes. But I'm thinking about the administration. I'm talking about the foreign policy. It's entirely pro-Israeli, pro-Israel, and they have the support entirely of the White House behind them. So.
No, I know, but I'm also saying that once the pressure from below is changing, is also what I'm saying. And that doesn't mean to solve the situation.
Yeah, it's a good, as you said, that's 15 years, it wasn't, and I see that I'm lucky, I travel in Ghana, I travel a lot. I saw every place we go, young Jewish students who's really joining the boycott, and they're working to the Palestinian cause a lot. And that's growing, not like 10, it's hundreds, and they do great things. As artists, as singers, as academic people. But to respond to your point, as America support them and this, yes, of course, that's something we can highlight. I would like to share with you last time maybe one story, small story. I tell this story every time I come to India, but I will tell it again about the wheel story, the tire story, if you remember. Last year I directed a play with the students. It's called Tuwani. Tuwani, it's a small Palestinian village in the south, in South Hebron Hills. Tuwani, it's a small community, like we call it also from the touches line, where I mentioned, and where the Freedom Bus, we visit them every time, do activity, theater with children, perform. So we do interaction with them all the time. And this Tuwani village is surrounded by colonies, settlements, and they try to push them out of their lands. They are Bedouin community. So all their life depend on the sheep cows and farmers also at the same time.
So the settlements are Jewish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
right.
just
yeah.
make that clear.
Yeah, okay. You know what colonies or settlements? In Palestine, we have also not right to call it settlement. It's a colony. We have colonies in all of the mountain. It's like they take the top of the mountain, they build a village, very nice, beautiful. It's like a village, European village, and they take all the land around it, and they kick the people who's there out. And this is a lot to Palestine, a lot. Even inside West Bank, every cities have this. But Tuwani, it was intensive. There's many colonies around Tuwani. One day in Tuwani, they decide to make a summer camp for children. But to be honest with you, the people there, they didn't know what is summer camp. So what is summer camp? Summer camp, it's fun. Okay, let's do fun. So first thing what we do, we have to make the place clean and look beautiful. So they brought a lot of tires, and they paint them with the Palestinian flag, like hundreds of wheels, and they make big circle around and they put tents. It's become a summer camp. At the same time, this camp, there's a colony called Khafat Ma'on. So after when they finished, one of the settlers who's inside, who came and he stole one of these tires. The children saw this. It's like a spontaneous reaction. They just follow them with a demonstration. They are around 30 children. And they were screaming, "We want the wheel! We want the tire! We want the tire!" in front of the colonies. Then their families hear about it. Then the families joined them. And all Tuwani village went, "We want the tire, we want the tire." And of course after this, now they're attacking the colonies. Now this is the idea of the security. Israel army, the police, the Palestinian Authority, everybody, look, it's a big deal. They brought a lot of soldiers, hundreds of soldiers. What you want, what's going on? We want the tire. Come on guys, it's just a tire, it's just a wheel. He said no, and the children refused to leave. And the tire is nothing. Tire is nothing, but the idea is no, they will not take the tire. So after one day of negotiation, then finally they give them different tire. They refuse. They said no, we want the one with the colors of Palestinian flag. They bring another one it's new and so beautiful. They refuse. 38 child, we want the tire. Okay, after big discussion with them, they keep saying no, he didn't take it. So the guy who take the tire, he's unlucky. He's a very fat guy. So every child know him. He's the only one who's fat in this colony. So all of them, when they saw, they say in Arabic, "Al-Nasih." It means the fat guy, and he's the only fat guy in this colony. So in the end, they succeed to bring the tire back, and they come back to Tuwani village. We want that. We got it back. We got it back. So when I heard this story, I interviewed the children, and I was talking to them. What's that tire is nothing. Come on, it's like you can buy it. You can. I said no. If they take the tire, they take the summer camp. If they take the summer camp, they take the mountain. That was like, even as a Palestinian, I was impressed with this reaction. So we did a play about this. We did this story. We did it in the street also. So in every place, every city where we are performing, when we arrive to the scene, we want the tire, we want the tire. All the audience stand up and we want the tire, we want the tire. And I think that this kind of stories, it gives hope. If these young children succeed to get the tire back from big colonies, full of securities, full of seats, full of all things you can imagine, I think we can do something, even if America behind them. Thank you very much.